What's going on? It's your boy Ace Metaphor, and we back for another video cast. Ace of Hearts message. Ace of Hearts podcast. Listen, I'm starting to really find my groove with these. As you can tell, I got the I Love Me, the pink pack version. Shout out to the breastises. I love them, men and women. Make sure you do your checks every day. When you're in the shower, go ahead and do your checks. Men too. A lot of times we think that it doesn't affect us too, but it does. Male breast cancer is a thing, so I want everybody to be focused on their checks, check for lumps, make sure you get your mammograms. We got to spread awareness because early detection is super, super important, all right? Especially to increasing your prognosis. So make sure that you do your checks, you get your mammograms, support the breastises. I love them, you love them, men and women. You know, I think I got nice ones too. They bounce a little bit. They bounce away. But anyway, we're about to get back into this podcast thing. All right, so I got my Instagrammers on here. As everybody know, my favorite social media platform is the gram. So if you ever have a question for your boy, make sure you go to the gram and you ask me a question. Follow me at Ace Metaphor, all spelled correctly. On Instagram, and I'll post a sticker on my story and you can put your question there. Cool? Sound good? Sound like a plan. And one more thing, I'm still not used to looking right into the lens. I look at myself, and so if I'm looking this way and not you, it's because I see myself right there. Instagram, y'all can see the little thing right there. So anyway, I got Instagram. I'm gonna ask some questions. I got some questions asked on Instagram, so we're gonna answer them right now. All right? So somebody said, why do we not know the difference between love and attachment? I'm going to change your word. Love and addiction. You call it attachment. That's a nicer word for it, ain't it? I'm attached to him. No, you addicted to him and his toxicity. And you have to know the difference. I don't love, like people that's on drugs don't love crack. Crack be fucking them up. Like, crack destroys your being. You don't love it. You're just physically dependent on it. And let me tell you something. Sometimes you can be in dysfunction so long that you depend on the toxicity. My question is to you is, why did you get in that toxic relationship in the beginning? First of all, that's the same question. Like, we're gonna go with this drug analogy. Why did you first try to take crack? Why did you smoke your first hit of crack? Why did you take your first hit of heroin? It wasn't because you loved it. It was because it was something inside of you that you needed to heal. And you wanted to heal from the pain. And so you took this drug in order to try to do that. Here's the thing. A lot of times we get in the wrong relationships because we are trying to mask some loneliness or some pain that's inside of us. That's why you got in that toxic relationship. It wasn't because you was healthy and everything was going right and your self-confidence and esteem was where it needed to be to tell and say no to drugs. It was because maybe your perception was a little tainted. Maybe you had some daddy issues or mommy issues you haven't addressed from or fixed. Maybe you had a toxic relationship that you haven't truly healed from and you needed a distraction. People try drugs for many different reasons, all negative. People get into toxic relationships for many different reasons, most of them being negative. So let me tell you this to really get it straight. What I need you to know is the difference between love and addiction. Love builds up, addiction tears down. Are you in a relationship now where you feel like you're being upbuilt, that you're being made better, that you look forward to, that is positive, that you equally exchange from one another? If not, you're not in a positive relationship, you're in a negative relationship. A relationship that leeches off of your health, your happiness, and your self-esteem. A relationship that just takes. A relationship where you find out that you cry more than you laugh in it. One where you don't even see how it's going to work out. One where every time you try to leave, the relationship calls you back. It's almost like that drug. I used to work at an inpatient rehab unit. And it would be people that would say, like, I tried to quit, but every time I try to quit, it's like the drug calls me back. hey, Keisha, come back. It ain't the same thing that happens when you in that toxic relationship with that man and you try to leave and they call your ass back, right? Baby, come back. I need you. I'm going to change. And because you're physically dependent on it, you go back. So I guess I wanted to talk about the difference between love and addiction, because I feel like there's a lot of people around the world that think they're in love, but they're really just addicted to the pain. You're really just addicted to it. You're physically dependent on it. To the fact that when you get out of that relationship and you get into a positive relationship, you can't even act right. When shit is healthy, you think something is wrong. When somebody don't want to argue with you, you like, but you don't want to argue? Like, you be thinking shit is wrong when somebody ain't checking through your phone. Like, he must not care what I do because he ain't checking on me. Look, grown people don't have to check other grown people. He ain't putting me in my place. Grown people don't put other grown people in their place. But your idea of love has been replaced with the idea of dysfunction and toxicity and addiction, that you think addictive qualities are normal now. You think jealous qualities are normal now. You think controlling qualities are normal now. So when you get that quote unquote nice guy, it does nothing for you. That's just like offering somebody that's a heroin addict ibuprofen for their headache. Fuck you giving me this ibuprofen for? Hey, listen, I used to work at the hospital. Trust me, I know. Somebody that's been on heroin, you try to offer them a Percocet. Fuck I'm gonna do with this Percocet for? Give me some morphine. Like, no, the doctor only got you Percocets. Man, get that out of my face. That's the same is true when you are so used to toxic, dysfunctional relationships that when you get a normal one, it does nothing for you. Because you are so used to your emotions being pulled in such extremes that you reason you must care about him. You may reason to yourself, I must love him because if I didn't love him, he couldn't make me this mad. First of all, a man that loves you would never make you that mad. See how the dysfunction fuck with your brain? It's just like them drugs, that crack. It fuck with your brain and how you view things. It causes delusions. Toxic relationships cause you to be delusional. You up there thinking shit is gonna get fixed. That's a delusion. I mean, he gonna do better. I know it. I believe it. I seen it that's the toxicity talking, boo. That's the drugs, man. That's delusion. You up here hallucinating. You know he lying to you, but you want to believe what you want to believe. You hallucinate the story and make it seem like everything is good when it's not. It's not. You act as if other people can't see your pain. They do. They see you decaying from the outside. Like when you've been addicted to a drug so long, your physical appearance change. When you've been in a toxic relationship for so long, your physical appearance change, and everybody see it. You lose weight, you lose hair, you get more wrinkles and shit. Like toxic relationships is bad for your health. So I want you to know the difference between love and addiction. All right? Because some of y'all think y'all in love, but you just addicted. And that's it. Now I'm gonna follow it up. I'm not gonna leave you with this. Trust me, Instagram. I'm gonna follow this up with something. How do you heal from that though? You gotta go to rehab. First, you gotta figure out how you can detox from this drug. You got to. Period. If you've never been around somebody detoxing from alcohol or drug, it is tough. They body don't know how to react. And when you detox from that painful, toxic relationship, there will be nights where you might cry uncontrollably. There might be nights where you sweat uncontrollably. You can't think straight. You can't function at a job. Like sometimes you got to call off and take a week's vacation just from you to detox from that toxic relationship. And then once you physically get over the physical dependence of needing another body next to you at night. Because sometimes ain't that what it is? You're physically dependent on the sex or that body laying right there or that person's voice, or physically dependent on texting the same person every day. You got to fight through that. We have to sometimes restrain people from getting out the bed so they don't leave. We get a doctor's order and we strap them to the bed. You might be like, that's mean, that's human. But if you don't, they'll hurt themselves because they ain't in their right mind frame. Sometimes you got to have your bestie come over and take your phone so you ain't calling that man. You got to have your bestie over there watching you 24/7 if she needs to make sure you ain't doing nothing stupid like going back to that addiction and that drug. Secondly, once you get over the physical addiction, because I get it, you miss his presence. Whether it was negative or positive, at least he was there. And now you don't have anyone that's there. But you got to get over that. And it's going to take somebody being there to help you not go back. But even after you get over the physical dependence, there's a mental and psychological dependence. Let me tell you something. It's people that stay on drugs because they don't feel like they can cope with life without it. Sometimes you don't think you can live life without that man. You don't think you can go forward without him there. Maybe this drug has talked to you so long to make you feel like you ain't shit without it. When you in toxic relationships, won't that person make you seem like you ain't shit? Who the fuck gonna want you but me? Where the fuck you gonna go? You ain't gonna never find nobody like me. You dumb, ain't nobody gonna want your ass. Fatty. They say shit like that erodes at your confidence, right? So now you start to believe it, right? It's like that drug talking to that addict. What the fuck you gonna do without me? You ain't gonna be able to enjoy life without me. Same shit. You got to get over it mentally too. It's some of you guys that have left physically and you gotten over the physical dependence, but you ain't left mentally. Mentally, even after that person is gone from your presence, he still has captives in the hold of you. And that's why I said you got to go to rehab, man. Y'all got health insurance. We talked about it in the first podcast. Use your health insurance. Go to a counselor, a therapist, a spiritual advisor, a trusted person. Let somebody help you mentally. Like if you got a blood pressure issue and you faint and you go to the hospital, you're going to go to the hospital. You're going to get a medicine. You're going to take it. But let your ass go through depression. You ain't going to go to the hospital for that. It's almost like we got a stigma around our mind. Sometimes we need help getting over negative relationships. That may be, like I said, professional help. But you don't feel no type of way if you break your leg going to the doctor. But if you got a broken heart, maybe you should go to the doctor as well. You know what I mean? And that's how you get over that toxicity. And I know I done spent a lot of my time talking about this, but I feel like it's important. It really means a lot to me. All right? So let's see. We gonna answer another question. All right? We're going to answer another question. Okay. All right. All right. So, what's the question? They just comment. Ain't nobody. Let's see. Y'all ain't got no questions. Oh, for everybody that's watching, I'm starting to do YouTube podcasts now. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a video cast and a podcast. So today I decided to make a couple videos for that. Ain't no questions? Wow. Somebody said, when you are detoxing, should you be alone? Yes. We talked about it during the first podcast. If you want to watch it, it's on my page. Yes, I need you to understand. When you are detoxing from a negative relationship, stay your ass single. Let me tell you something. When somebody is physically detoxing from a drug, again, for their safety and the safety of others, sometimes they are in the room by themselves in a state where they can't hurt another person. When you are detoxing from somebody mentally and physically, sometimes your mind ain't in the right place. Certainly your heart ain't in the right place. So you need to prevent yourself from hurting another person. And here's the thing, you might not even want to hurt them. You might have the best intentions in the world, but you're incapable right now of loving them properly because you are not at 100%. Don't you deserve a man that can give you 100% of him? 100% effort, 100% love, 100% invested? Yes. So shouldn't that man that's willing to do all those things also receive 100% of you? How can he when 50% of you is still tied into that broke motherfucker that broke you? How? How when you still incomplete? How when you still dependent on toxicity? How? Yes, you should stay out of toxic relationships or stay out of relationships until you know yourself that you're not toxic as well. Here's the thing that nobody want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it today. I'm going to talk about it today. First of all, you was in that relationship too. Everybody want to always make it seem like they were just in that relationship having fuck shit just happen to them. Like it's 100% the other person's fault. Trust me, 99.9% of my followers all have this same thing. Like I must have found the most perfect 300,000 of y'all because trust me, I'm talking to my camera. Trust me, it's none of y'all's fault ever. If you look at my comment section, it is never any of you guys' fault. Trust me, it's always him. He always fucked up. He was the person that ruined things. He was the person that cheated. He was the person that lied. It's always him. Trust me, check the comments. But that's not the case. There is some duality in relationships where you have to understand it takes two to tango. Either you contributed or you allowed. Both is a problem. When you stayed in a negative relationship so long, you are now with your actions saying what they're doing is okay. And that's something you got to fix. When you are in toxic relationships, whether you directly or indirectly contributed to the toxicity, there is something inside yourself that has to be fixed and healed. And not realizing that and always pointing the finger at another person is the core of the problem. We always do that. We never want to look and say, what could I have done better? And so when you always think it's the other person's fault, what you don't do is make the necessary adjustments between this relationship and your next relationship because you don't see no need to. It was Reggie's punk ass fault, wasn't it? Yup. So you just gonna keep doing the same shit you've always done, and you're gonna end up being one of those girls at my show that's talking about, why I always get into relationships with the same guys? Because you never learn. How can you learn when it's somebody else's fault? It's always someone else's fault. It's never yours, so there's no lesson to learn. It's amazing to me. Like, it really is amazing. Like, am I tripping? It's amazing to me. Like, how it's never nobody else's fault. Like, it's never yours. Like, it's always everybody else's fault. It just kills me. Like, you've been in 4 relationships. All of them fucked up. And ain't nothing wrong with you that needs some attention? It must be nice, man. It must be ladies, it must be nice to be able to just say that. Because I don't personally get it. Like, how can you just... It must be nice. Because men can't do that. Like, we can't hide behind that. We get in 4 relationships. We can't be like, oh, it was all 4 of those girls' fault. And people just feel okay with accepting that. No. But ladies can do that with no issues. My point is, whether it was in the decision-making process, the discernment process, the over-tolerance process, the not sticking up for yourself process, the self-love, something went wrong that you need to fix. And until that gets fixed, you don't want to hurt someone else fixing it while holding on to their heart. Because I'll tell you this, people that detox, there's going to be some times where you relapse. And you don't want to relapse with somebody else's heart in your hand. Sometimes you got to love somebody enough to stay out of a relationship with them. Like, what happened to that? Like, what happened to the times where you used to like really care about somebody and their well-being and their happiness, and knowing that you couldn't provide that, and you say, I'm not going to be with you because you deserve better than me? That's how you know somebody really love you. When they can tell you that. When they know they can't give you what you need and they walk away. The same people you up there claiming love you. You be like, he loves me. But he put you through bullshit? That's not love, man. I can't tell you that people are perfect. But I can tell you that a man that truly loves you won't put you through their bullshit. They'll let you go well before they decide to hurt you. Because they love you, not just you with them. It's too many people in this world that's loving you simply because you with them. Get somebody that's going to love you no matter what. Y'all talk about this unconditional love, but no, it be having some conditions like you got to stick with them. I only love you when you're with me. No, sometimes you got to love somebody far away. They be the same people that claim they love you, but they wait for you to leave them when they fucking up. Instead of saying, you know what? I don't want to hurt you. I got to go. That's true love. And it's people that y'all making all these sacrifices for, giving up your dreams, sacrificing your body and your youth with people that don't give a fuck about you. You say he care about you, but he hurting you. He lying to you. He giving you diseases. And you sacrificing your youth, years you can never get back, on somebody that's willing to do that and won't walk away. Well, he can't help it. He can help be in a relationship with you, though. If he a fuck boy, can't he be a fuck boy in the corner, not fucking with other people's hearts until he learn and he grow up? But no, he wants you to tolerate all the bullshit he's putting you through, not because he loves you, but because you love him. It's only when you say, I love you, that now they start to pull that bullshit out the hat, right? Deal with it now. That ain't love, man. That ain't love. So anyway, y'all can do what y'all want to do. But my point is, at some point, we got to redefine what we say is love. Anybody that will continue to hurt us purposefully, they don't love us. They only love themselves. That's selfish. And we got to not sacrifice for those people no more. We got to stop putting them in front of us. Because obviously they don't have our back. They only got their back. Love is selfless. And sometimes you got to realize if that person is unwilling to leave your life voluntarily, maybe the love they say they have for you is not as much as you thought they did, or they thought they did. So quit sacrificing for people that won't leave you. If the only thing they bring into your life is bullshit. They ain't worth it. Anyway, that's been my time, y'all. My phone is on like what? What is it? My phone it got to be on 5% now. I don't know. But anyway, I love you guys. Instagram. If y'all want to follow me on Instagram, go to acemetaphor on Instagram, and you can ask the questions there. Thank you for watching this podcast. I love you guys. I love you, Instagram. I will holler at y'all later. Peace. I had to get Instagram off of here. So anyway, now I'm back. I got a couple minutes. So I want to just take that a little bit further though. If you say you love me, like not just when it's convenient for you, but also when it's convenient for me. If you say you love me the way you say you love me, then match it with your actions. If you know that you are incapable of doing so, leave. Period. If you love somebody and all you're doing is bringing bullshit in their life, leave them. Prove that you actually love them. Because right now, when you are staying, you ain't saying you love them. You are saying you love yourself. You are saying you care about you. You are saying you care about what you're getting from this relationship, not what you're giving. Because you're not giving positive vibes, upbuilding spirit. You ain't giving a contributing partnership. You leeching, you taking. And you forcing people to deal with your flaws and your imperfections that you should have gotten checked prior to this relationship. If you can't give to a relationship fruitfully, meaningfully, leave. Not because you don't love them, but because you do. Period. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace out, y'all.